Welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to see about two AWT controls, label and button. So one is active control, button is active control, and another one is label. Okay, this is passive control. That is, label is mainly used to give information or to give extra knowledge to the end user. Okay, that's why we can say that is label is a passive control. Okay, we can't perform any action based on the label. We can't take any actions. Button, this is an action command. Okay, so that's why we can call it as active control. Button is the active control. We can perform some operation based on the button. Based on the button, we can perform some operation. Okay, so almost all are familiar with these two buttons. Okay, when we are click on it, we can perform specific operation. Okay, so in this video, we are going to see about the label and button along with example program. Okay, first one is label. Okay, this in AWT, label is one of the easiest control. Okay, among all other control, label is the easiest control. Okay, we can create the label using the label class. Okay, the class name for the label is known as label. Okay, so whenever we want to create the label, that time we can use the label class. And the label contains a string. Okay, that string is used to interact with the end user. Okay, so whenever we want to interact with the end user via label, the string argument should be supported to us to interact with the end user. Okay. So already I told labels are passive controls. Okay. So it should not support. Okay. Do not support any interaction. Okay. That is, we don't have any option to interact with the label. Okay. But it gives extra information. That's all. We can create the label using these three constructors. First one is empty constructor. There is no value. Okay, we doesn't pass any information, just it's an empty constructor. Another one is string. We are giving some string to our label. Okay, that string shown in our area. Okay, that string is act as the information to the end user. Then another one is string and also how the string should be aligned within the area. Okay, how the string is aligned with the area. That can be specified using the three constant left, right and center. Okay, we can align the string inside the label area using these three constant. And the familiar methods related to strings are setText, getText, setAlignment and getAlignment. SetAlignment and getAlignment is only applicable when we are using the third type of constructor. Okay. Then when we are going with the first constructor or second constructor or third constructor, if you want to give a new string or if you want to change the existing string, that time we can use the setText method. Okay, and if you want to get the values inside the string, okay, that is where we want to get the string inside the label. Okay, that time we can use the getText method. Okay, it returns the string. Okay, so these four methods are somewhat related with the labels. Okay, most important methods in the label. Okay, let's see about buttons. Okay, buttons are most widely used control. Okay, probably buttons are used in all the application. Okay, so if you want to perform any action, that time we can use the buttons. Okay, so the common name of the button is push button, is because we are press on it and perform some operation. That's why we can call it push it. Okay, push button. Okay, and the push buttons, they are contains a label. Okay, and when we are click on that button, automatically it's raise the event. Okay, when we are press on that specific button, it generate the events. Okay, so a button is associated with its label and also event. Okay, it's associated with the label and also event. Okay, whenever we want to create the button, okay, that time we can use the button class. Okay, that time we can use the button class. So button class objects are used to perform the actions. And most familiar constructors are no argument constructor. Okay, button class, no argument constructor. Another one is button class single argument, that is string argument constructor. Okay, so two constructors are used to create the object for push button. Okay, both are throws the headless exception. Okay, both are throws the headless exception. Okay, so these are two constructors to create the button object. Then the most familiar methods, okay, widely used methods associated with buttons are set label and get label. Okay, set label method is used to assign the string or uh, assign the value on the button. Okay, maybe I have a button like this. When I want to assign some value, that is how we can identify that specific button. Okay, we are identify that button using the name on it. There is the string on it. Okay, there is yes. Okay, so now this button is called as yes button. Okay, this button is called as yes button. Okay, so whenever we want to assign something, okay, we are creating the button using the first constructor, and we want to give some label on it. Okay, that time we can use the set label method. And if you want to retrieve the content on it or label on it, okay, to get that value, for that purpose we can use the get label. It returns the string. Okay, so for first method we are passing the string argument. Second method automatically return the string. Okay, so buttons or action commands. Okay, how we can perform the action commands. Okay, how we are going to handle the buttons. Okay, so whenever we are press on the button, okay, automatically button generates the event. The button automatically generate the action event. Okay, generate the action event. Okay, so we are adding some listener. Okay, event listener along with our object. We are adding some listener to with our event. Okay, so once the event is raised by the button, automatically the listener listen it, or the listener capture that specific action. Okay, so regards to the action event, that is regards to button, okay, there is a need to implement the action listener. Okay, there is a need to implement the action listener interface. Okay, and this interface contains action performed method. Okay, so whenever we are using the button, there is a need to give the implementation for action performed method. Okay, so if we forget to give the action event method, automatically our program raise the error. Okay, automatically our program raise the error. So there is a need to implement the action event. Okay, without that we can't to perform the operation. Okay, always it's expect the action performed method implementation. Okay, and this method received action event object. Okay, so there is a need to pass the action event object to this action performed method argument. Okay, and if you want to capture that specific event, that time we can use the get action command method. This method returns the string on our button. Okay, it returns the string on our button. Based on this action command, get action return value. Based on that only we can perform the operation. Okay, let's see the example program. Okay, so here we are giving the importance to the labels and also buttons. So I gave a name for my classes button demo. Okay, and already we told, okay, we are going to use the applet window. Okay, that's why this class extend the applet. Okay, and we are going to use the button inside it. So there is a need to implement the action listener interface. Okay, without that we can't to capture the event, or we can't to perform the operation. Okay, and also we are adding the applet tag. Okay, the code, the first attribute of applet tag is code. Okay, the same class name can be given to the code, and I have fixed the size of the applet window. Okay, whenever we want to execute the button related program, there is a need to import the AWT package and also its event class. and also we are creating the window as applet, so there is a need to import the applet. Okay, here I am going to use two buttons and also one label. Okay, I am going to use two button and also one label. Okay, give a name for my button as yes and no. Okay, we are giving the name for the button as yes and no, and label. Okay, give a name for my label as n. Why I am using, why I am declared all these variable, all these object or reference in the public. Okay, because I'm going to use all these objects, okay, throughout the program. Okay, that's why I have uh, declared all these variable in public manner. Okay, in the under public access specifier. Okay, within the init method, I have created the label. Okay, actually, we are creating the reference. Okay, here only we are creating the original object. Okay, for alignment purpose, okay, I have created a empty label. Okay, but empty space, like getting the huge amount of space. Okay, then empty string. This should be considered as empty string. Okay, and creating the object for button yes and no, and it contains a text or string as yes no. Okay, gave a name for my button as yes no, and also the label on that button is yes and no. Then we know about add method. Okay, add method is used to add the component in our area window. Okay, in our area. Okay, so for the purpose only we are using the add button. Okay, add method. Okay, so I am going to add yes button first, then followed by no button, and followed by label. Okay. Then already we know label is passive control. Okay, it doesn't perform any operation, so there is no need to give any listener. Okay, but yes and no are buttons. Okay, they can perform the action. Okay, so there is a need to add the action listener. Okay, so we are adding the action listener interface for our button object yes and no. Okay, yes and no. Okay, all these can be defined inside the init method. Okay, and already we saw about action performed. Okay, this is one of the method inside the action listener interface. Okay, so here we are giving the implementation for action performed, and we know about it. Okay, always action performed method receive the action event object. Okay, always ready to receive the action event object. Okay, so we are creating the object, we are passing the object. Okay, so when the button raise any event, automatically it's captured inside this area AE. Okay, then get action command, it returns a string. Okay, that is label on our button. Okay, it returns the label on our button. Okay, what's shown or display on our button, that can be received using the get action command method. Okay, okay, here I have checked if the label is yes. Okay, I'm going to display in the text, sorry, in the label area as you are clicked on yes button. Okay, that is, we can set that value using the setX method. Okay, it is defined inside the label. Yeah, otherwise, okay, we are click on the no button, so that's why I have give the value as, I have give the text as clicked on no button. Okay, then paint method. Inside the paint method, I'm going to draw one string. Okay, that is just display the string as label and button demo. Okay, now I'm going to execute the program. When I execute the program, okay, it contains two buttons, okay, and also a string as label and buttons demo. Okay, when I click on yes button, okay, the action is performed, and also display this text as you are clicked on the yes button. When I click on no, okay, the action is captured, and also display the messages you are clicked on no button. Okay, so once again when I click on yes, okay, get action command, get this label and also verify with it, okay, whether it is equal to yes. Okay, string dot equals, okay, it's equal to yes, then set the text. Okay, set the text on label as you are clicked on yes. Okay, just a minute. Okay, so likewise we can raise and also capture the event using the button. Okay.